On 12 News at 4, we are all about bringing you solutions and empowering you to better your lives. Every day, we bring some of the Valley's most experienced professionals to discuss trending topics on health, ways to save money and improve your financial life, the law, relationships. We even have an expert on pets. And it's not just us asking the questions, we give you, the viewer, the opportunity to weigh in and ask questions too. Now, we're putting all these segments together in one place for you. This is Ask the Expert. Well, in today's health, we want to talk about osteoporosis. It's a disease that's very common, yet nearly 80% of older Americans who suffer broken bones are not tested or treated for it. And 1 out of 2 women and about 1 out of 4 men over the age of 50 will break a bone due to osteoporosis. That's according to Bone Health and Osteoporosis Foundation. So what can you do about it? Let's ask the expert. Joining me now is Dr. Sonal Harder with Dignity Health Medical Group. All right, explain for us exactly what is osteoporosis.
So osteoporosis is basically weakening of your bones because of bone loss. And there's another term called osteopenia, which is a lesser degree, but it is both, they both indicate bone loss in your body. And this is serious because bone loss can result in spontaneous fractures or fractures from small falls or even movements like bending or coughing vigorously.
Wow.
And so this is kind of life-threatening in some cases. People can die from these bad fractures.
Yeah, well, and when you look at, the statistics, we're talking 1 out of every 2.
Absolutely.
I mean, it almost sounds like it's inevitable.
And in biological females, it's actually very common after menopause. That is one of the biggest risk factors. So after 50, most people actually have more bone loss than bone production in our bodies. We all have that. And there are certain risk factors that actually make it even worse. So menopause is one of them. People who are on chronic steroids, people who have lower body mass index, or people who have struggled from eating disorders or bariatric surgeries, or something that is actually not letting you absorb calcium and vitamin D. So like celiac disease or inflammatory bowel disease. These are some of the risk factors for osteoporosis.
Now, we talked about, how common it is in women, 1 out of 2, but why is it not as common in men?
So men tend to have lesser bone loss compared to women. However, there are certain risk factors you have to look for. So for example, men over the age of 70, or if they have certain risk factors like excessive use of alcohol, tobacco use, smoking is a risk factor, or use of corticosteroids, or loss of male hormone due to testicular surgery, or any treatments that are blocking androgen, production can actually put them at risk for osteoporosis.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about treatment. That's always so important.
Correct.
What can we do about it?
So going back to prevention, exercise matters. Weight training, strength training, just staying active is very important. Eating nutrition that's well-rounded, so having calcium, vitamin D, getting your vitamin D levels checked, those things are very important.
Right.
Now, treatment-wise, we have medications called bisphosphonate, Prolia, parathyroid hormone analogs. There are some treatments, oral medications that we use for osteoporosis.
Okay.
These medications help produce newer bone and also slow down the bone loss.
Okay, is there a test that we can get to see if we have osteoporosis and that we need, like medication?
Yes, so it's called DEXA scan or bone density scan.
Okay.
It's like an X-ray, and they really can actually give you not a prediction, but numbers on how much bone loss there is and the range and severity of it. And based on those numbers, actually, we determine if somebody needs to be only on vitamin D and calcium versus medications.
Yeah, versus the prescribed meds.
Correct,
yeah.
exactly.
So how would you know if you need just the supplements over the counter?
Correct. And so it depends on who your patient is, how severe is the bone loss, and what is the cause of osteoporosis. In postmenopause, for example, sometimes we use hormones along with calcium and vitamin D and bone-producing medications, right? And certain patients, if it is celiac disease, then it's important to look at their GI symptoms as well and take care of that. But in general, based on how severe the bone loss is, we use certain medications to treat that.
Because the consequences
are hip fracture, lower spine fracture. This can result in death. This can result in actually debilitating and getting into rehab for several weeks to months, surgeries, and this can be life-threatening. That is what people forget. It's not just a fracture.
Right. Oh, it's so scary that, you know, and it's so common.
And Fran, one more thing, there are no symptoms. So the only symptoms are when you get pain from the fracture.
Wow.
Sometimes we see loss of height and change in the posture, so stooping.
Right.
Those are some of the signs, but otherwise it's a silent disease.
All right. Thank you so much, Sonal. Now it's time now to ask the expert here to answer your questions live on air about osteoporosis is Dr. Sonal Harder. Our first question says, when I think of osteoporosis, I think of older people falling and breaking bones. They can't be the only ones at risk here. So who is?
Okay, so basically aging causes bone loss. So everybody over the age of 50 has some degree of bone loss. But some other risk factors are menopause. So menopausal women should start to get bone density scans after the age of 50 and at least after the age of 65 for sure.
Okay.
But I tend to do it over 50 because some of them have accelerated bone loss.
Yeah.
People who are on chronic steroids, those people have higher risk, or seizure medications. People with inflammatory bowel disease affecting their bowels, so Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, celiac disease, people who have undergone bariatric surgery. These are some other risk factors for osteoporosis.
Wow. And of course, if they have any questions, definitely ask the doctor, you know, should I be getting this test?
Correct.
Okay. Debbie in Gilbert asks, I recently started taking Fosamax for osteopenia. Thank you. Yes. So glad I have you here. Could you briefly explain what that medication does, and is it a medication that one would need forever?
Okay, so Debbie, great question. So Fosamax is a medication that we actually use very commonly for osteopenia and osteoporosis. Just to tell our viewers, osteopenia is bone loss, but not as severe as osteoporosis. Oh. So this is actually preventing Debbie from getting to the osteoporosis stage. Okay. So Fosamax helps us by reducing bone breakdown or bone loss. So it kind of helps maintain the bone density.
Okay.
Now, to answer the question forever, it's not a medication we use forever. We use it typically for 5 years, and while the patient is on the medication, we tend to do bone scans to make sure that the medication is actually helping build the bone density.
Right.
So typically about 5 years. And then we do something called drug holiday, which is take a break and then reassess.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Josephine in Mesa asks, okay, I'm going to need help with this one too. Is it true that
Alendronate?
Thank you. Tablets can only be taken for 5 years for osteoporosis. If so, what's a good replacement other than getting long-term shots?
Great question. Alendronate is Fosamax, and this is exactly what we just said.
Okay.
So up to 5 years, we know that it actually does help with bone building. After 5 years, there's a slight risk of more side effects versus benefits, and that's why that's a good time to assess. Is this helping, or do we need a different type of medication at this point to help with osteoporosis? Typically, if we don't see progression in the right direction, then we have to consider a different category of medication.
Yeah, something else.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Next viewer asks, what does the disease look and feel like?
Oh, what a great question. So this is where I want everybody to know it's a silent disease.
Yeah.
We really don't have symptoms of osteoporosis unless you get a fracture. Unfortunately, fracture can cause pain, and that can get your attention. But here are some things that to keep in mind. Loss of posture, stooping over, a loss of height can be some signs of bone loss. So that's one. And like I mentioned earlier, all biological females post-menopause should be getting scans on a regular basis.
Okay. This next viewer asks, for people who don't have it, how do you prevent it? Is it as simple as drinking milk or taking a calcium supplement? I didn't think about the milk.
Yeah, so milk has vitamin D and calcium. Those are good supplements for calcium and vitamin D. Here are some things. So having an active lifestyle. So for example, resistance training, any type of movement is going to help you build muscles and also help you with your bone health. Number two, well-rounded nutrition. You want your vegetables, you want calcium and vitamin D food, resources in your food. So non-fat dairy or high-protein diet also helps with building your bone. Number three is actually checking your vitamin D levels to see if you have deficiency. If you do have low levels of vitamin D, you may need supplemental vitamin D. And lastly, we do have medications actually to prevent, but also to treat osteoporosis.
Excellent information.
I have two more things.
Oh, yes, yes.
Tobacco, so reduce or stop tobacco use. Smoking can affect your bone health, and excessive alcohol use can also cause osteopenia and osteoporosis.
Okay,
Things to
great
consider.
info. Sonal, thank you so much. We learned so much. I appreciate you. Our 4th of July travel is underway, and it is shaping up to be a big holiday travel season like no other. With the TSA forecasting a record number of passengers already, the holiday is getting chaotic. So let's talk travel must-haves on this money-saving Monday. How many times have you forgotten something or you didn't realize you needed an item to make your traveling easier? Then you got to run to the store at the last minute, sometimes pay double. You know what? It happens to all of us. So today, we're going to show you the top 10 travel essentials that you need to always pack with you so you can spend more time enjoying your trip instead of wasting your time and money. Joining me now is travel agent Susan Green of Susan's Travel Services. Okay, we've got the 10 items here.
Yep.
Let's run through the first one.
The number one that we tell all of our clients is an extension cord.
Yes.
So we have so many devices now.
Yeah.
There's never enough plugs. My husband and I are always fighting for it.
Yeah.
And then when you go anywhere outside the United States, there are tons of these. We have a link for this one on our website. What we love about this one, this is an adapter when you go outside the United States. This has 2 USB cords on the side also.
Okay.
So what we do is we take our extension cord and we plug that sucker right in. And if I could do it really good without my
That's
glasses
okay.
on,
Yep, we
like
know.
this.
All right.
Then now we've got this and we've got all these extra spots into our one spot on the wall, and it allows us to have a great opportunity to plug in all of our lovely devices.
Water bottles.
Water bottles are really important. So we spend a lot of money when we're on vacation trying to get water. We don't want to spend money doing that.
Yes.
We just tell everyone, go to Target, go somewhere, get a cheap water bottle you don't care about using, or you can take mine.
Okay.
And you fill it up with water. Anywhere you go is going to have filtered water.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite devices. If you have an iPhone and a watch and the earpods,
Yeah.
you plug this in. It's a 3-part device. It's about 25 bucks.
Oh,
I was just telling
that's
you, it's
great.
one of the best things we ever do. My husband and I fight over that. We plug it into this.
Yeah.
Air tags. They're super
Yes.
cheap. I didn't realize this till my last trip. You can replace the battery, by the way.
Okay.
You put this into your device. I have it in my purse. I have it in my carry-on. You can also put it in your check bag. You can find out at any moment on your phone where your bag is.
Yeah.
It's a nice security thing when you're traveling.
I don't have that. I think I may have to get that. Yeah.
This is a great portable charger. So when you go on vacation, you're going to want to take those photos. There's nothing worse than, oh, my phone's running out of power or whatever.
Yeah.
What's great about this is, why we like this one is it has 2 different types of chargers.
Okay.
My husband has one that is the old type. I have the USB-C. You kind of go, hey, do you have this? Do you have this? And you can each plug in, and that runs out.
Okay.
Okay, another one of my favorite devices. This is a sling. So for those of us who don't
know
get to
that.
sit in,
Yes.
sit in first class,
Okay.
you get to take this and you put it on the carrying tray in front of you when you're in
Oh.
the coach, and you get to hang your legs in the place in front of you, and it gives your legs a little bit of a break instead of sitting. You have
I
to
was like,
sit.
I have room for my legs
Yeah,
to be
so it's
propped
kind
up
of like this.
that?
Your hands, your legs become like this when you're in coach.
Oh,
And
well,
you can push
yeah.
on it and stuff like that. It's
I
actually
could barely like lift my legs up though. I'm
well,
thinking
it's one of those. It actually works
extra.
out really
It's
well.
an
Yeah.
extra. Yeah. Okay.
Now, here's something. Instead of carrying your large purse,
Yes.
this is my husband, so I brought this so I can show that men
Male and
carry them too.
female, yeah.
Male and female
A purse
purses.
and a
Yeah,
purse. Got it, got it.
And this one is one of those that you can't cut. So a lot of people get worried about the non-cutting type. People can come up and cut your purse.
I know.
But what's nice about it is it's a cross bag. It goes
Yeah.
across. It carries a water bottle. It carries all the stuff that you have with you. You can
Nice.
carry just what you need for that day.
Okay.
You're not carrying your big backpack, so you're not sweaty.
Nah,
You can carry it
yeah.
around.
Okay.
You're going to find that either you love these or you don't. My husband is a die-hard packer. He
Yes.
puts all
I
of his
just
stuff-
got these.
Yeah, so-
I like them.
Yeah, you love them or you shove like I
Yeah.
do. I just shove my clothes in. And
Yeah,
people
no,
hate
but
me
I
for
help.
that.
You know what?
Yeah.
I roll my clothes in here, and I can fit even more in each pack.
What we found is the ones that have the open on the top are
Yeah.
better because then you can go, oh,
See.
these are my shirts.
Yeah.
And then always bring an empty one because then you can put your dirty clothes in them.
Yeah.
And-
Well, I need a bigger one than that. But
Yeah, yeah. They got these too.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
We
Yes.
were just talking about these 2 Tide
Excellent.
packs.
Yes.
These are excellent. They're for really small loads. You want to clean maybe your swimsuit or your underwear or
Yeah.
something like that when you're on your trip. It's a great way to carry and do a carry-on bag and be able to extend the life of the clothes that you have with
Okay.
you. And then this is something that I swear by also. It's a neck pillow.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing better than being able to rest your neck. I don't care if you're going 4 hours or 12 hours.
Right.
Even if you're in business class, a lot of times there's no place to put your neck. And this one's
Yeah.
really nice because it's adjustable.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've put it on my back. The older you get, sometimes it
that's a
hurts
good
you a little
idea.
bit longer. And what's nice is they come in carrying bags that you can always attach onto your bags.
Well, and I was
stuff
gonna say,
like that.
sometimes neck pillows, they're so big and bulky, and
This
like,
one's
this
a
is kinda
really, really good
petite.
one.
Yeah.
It shoves into a really small bag. That's why we like to make everything really, really small, but
Okay.
it needs to be something that you're going to carry with you.
I love it. I'm gonna take the plug. I'm gonna take the
Yeah.
what is it called again? The tag. Yes,
air
all of
tag
it.
is great.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna take it all to Paris. Thank you
Yeah.
so much,
You got it.
Susan.
You got it.
Gifts from Susan.
Yeah, there you
All
go.
right. Thank you so very
All right,
much.
you're
Okay,
right.
so the July travel period could be record-setting. AAA's forecast covers June 29th through July 7th. And it predicts more than 70 million Americans will go 50 or more miles from home during that time. Now, that would be the most ever for this holiday. TSA says it expects to screen more than 32 million passengers during that time frame. The agency says the summer as a whole might set a new record, and Independence Day tends to be when that travel hits its peak. It's time now to ask the experts. Speaking of travel, here to answer your questions live on the air is travel expert Susan Green. All right, our first one. Are there any deals still available for the 4th of July? 3 days away.
Not really. I mean,
Yeah.
there might be some last minute deals, but not really. It's, as you can just see, it's really, really busy time.
Right.
With it falling right in the middle of the week, most people are taking off the whole week, which means they're taking over all of the space versus a weekend space.
Yeah, and a
So
lot
it's
of people left on Friday already, so
Yeah,
they're
so
gone.
there's driving and flying, and a lot of people are gone, and it's
Yeah.
really difficult to find them right now.
All right, next up, what is the best way to pack cosmetic supplies into a carry-on? Good one.
So that is a really good question. I would say I use Ziplocs no matter what. You have no idea what's going to happen with pressurizing. So any type of cosmetic that has any type of pressure, even if it's powder, can get over your stuff. You don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that any part of your cosmetic has to be under 3 ounces. So if you use a foundation, make sure it's under 3 ounces. You don't want to be that person at the check-through line
Yes.
that's throwing away their $50 foundation because they didn't check that number.
Yeah.
And it's not always size. A lot of times those ounces, I don't get it, are just different. So,
Okay.
But putting them into a bag and making sure that they see them, just making sure they're in a Ziploc so that when you
Got
put them
it.
on the carry-on, you're totally safe.
Excellent advice.
Yeah.
All right, when you have a bad back, what do you do to get comfortable on a plane?
Well, I said the first thing you want to do is you want to call the airline. If you're really uncomfortable, you can get the people at the airport to give you preferred seating, meaning they can take you in the wheelchair to the gate, and then they can take care of you to get you on the airplane first.
Okay.
That's going to make it a little bit easier. Instead of you standing while everyone's putting their bag up, they're going to give you some extra time.
Right.
And then also where you're going to sit.
Okay.
So you might have to spend a little bit more money to have maybe the extra leg room or an exit row.
Yeah.
So they have a little bit more, or using one of those slings.
you were talking
it really
about.
does help your back. That's why I use it.
Right.
You can push on it and it relieves some of that back pressure for you.
Wow.
Obviously, going in a higher class of service, you get a little bit more room and it always
Right.
makes everything feel better. But if you can't do that, you can always upgrade your seat for a little bit more money.
Okay, good. Next question, are AirTags the best product to track your luggage?
They're the least expensive product to track
Okay.
your
And how much are we talking about?
We're talking like, I think they're $18, $19.
Oh,
yeah, and
lot
they
cheaper than I
They're a lot
thought.
cheaper than you think.
Okay.
So they're a lot cheaper. There are companies out there that track your luggage. Now, what's
Okay.
different between the two of those are this. Your AirTag is in your bag and you track it and then you go, oh my gosh, it's still in Phoenix and I'm in Philadelphia.
right.
A company does that, they're calling, they're getting your bag. So you're gonna pay more for that. That's their service. So they are the best value, meaning at least I know my bag is with me. At
Right.
least I know that I know where it is and I can track it. I can follow up with American. I can get into that line quicker than anyone else if I know it's not with me. But if you really want a good service, there are services out there that will track your bag and then guarantee it comes to you and also give you money for the incidentals when your bag's not with you.
How much are we talking about?
We're talking probably about $75 to $80 for your trip.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and there's different companies. You can get like a yearly stuff and stuff like that. So.
Okay, good to weigh options. Next question. What are tips to save on road trips? Yeah.
So road trips, what we always tell people is this: bringing your food. We always do that. We pack our food before we go. You always want snack food. Everyone thinks they're going to eat really healthy when they go on a road trip. That's not going to happen. But packing
The cookies, the
the
chips.
cookies, the chips. But
Yeah.
packing sandwiches, making sure you got ice, packing that water. I think water bottles and soda are the things where we waste so much money, and they're so much cheaper when you buy on your own.
Yeah.
So if you bring it with you, even if you have that water bottle, when you go and stop at a gas station, they're going to let you use their water service, putting in ice water and stuff like that. You can bring it with you. The other thing is there are gas apps where you can map out where you can do cheaper gas, and you guys know this. You look across the street and that gas is 10 cents cheaper.
Right.
That adds up when you're traveling across the country.
Yeah. Okay. Great stuff. And pack a cooler. I always feel like that's a
you
good
always
idea
have to have
too.
a cooler.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
With the 4th of July just 2 days away now, the holiday, of course, can be fun for people, but frightening for pets. Between fireworks and summer storms during monsoon season, the risk of losing your dog goes up, adding to the more than 5 million animals that enter shelters all across the U.S. every year. So how do we prepare our pets this time of year? Let's ask the expert. Joining me now is Brett the vet from Arizona Animal Hospital. This is always a huge concern each and every year, each and every monsoon season. So let's talk about really fireworks and monsoon season and really what can happen. Obviously, starting with the loud noises that they hear.
Right, it is a great topic. This is all coming together. Two things: the 4th of July celebrations, monsoons here, the dogs, the noise, the thunder, the fireworks themselves. You know, we've got the flashing of the lights and the lightning. And something we don't think about too much is the static electricity. These dogs are wearing like a wool sweater that picks up and builds up static electricity when the air changes. And the barometric pressure is another thing I think we mentioned before, where the dogs can almost have an internal barometer that they can pick up earlier on.
Almost like a sixth sense.
Yeah, the sixth sense, they know it's coming. So,
right.
And they get anxiety and fear and uncertainty and doubts when these events occur.
Yeah.
So what do we do about them?
Right, I know my Sunny Lou, like she will sense it before it even comes and she will literally shake.
And what
it's the saddest thing.
What are you doing about that?
Well, I'm comforting her. Like she will jump into my lap and I can feel her shake and I just, it's okay, but it's really frightening.
So we call that coddling. I'm going to suggest you do less coddling and more work-oriented tasks.
Okay.
So if you're with her and you know it's happening, I would probably put the training leash and collar on and work her with your basic obedience skills.
Yeah.
You've done that, haven't you?
Right. Well, I mean, not to your degree, but
okay.
yeah.
Well,
I'm trying still. Work in progress.
Yeah, so turn it into a work type activity that distracts her from what's going on around her. When you're saying it's okay, it's kind of the coddling effect. And what happens, the dogs pick up on that energy and it turns that event into something more anxiety driven.
Oh gosh.
So we want to turn it into something, downplay it all.
Right.
And I think the crate, if she likes the crate, that's leveraging the dog's instincts. We talk about crate training from a very early age.
Okay, but what happens for some pet owners, I hate to admit it, who did not start crating?
You're going to be stuck in the laundry room running a load of laundry with your dog to drown out the noise. So, things like noise.
Okay.
You might just spend time with her, working with her in a calm voice. Not, it's okay.
Got it.
But you're fine. There's nothing to worry about. Let's go turn on some music, watch a few dog videos on the Google or the YouTube, or go in the laundry room and turn on a load of laundry and let that background noise help desensitize.
Yeah, these are all tips on how to desensitize your pets. And so you can mimic noise, right? You can just have some background so that they can hear it and take their minds off of the outside noise.
That's right, mimicry, and plan ahead. Do this from the very beginning in life, but also knowing that this time's coming. Every year we see this. So you can start maybe desensitizing with that mimicry noise, etc., leash training, building confidence ahead of time, knowing that it's coming.
Yeah, that's tough. Okay, so finally, you also say seek help and plan ahead. What do you mean by this?
Yeah, kind of we just said, you know, plan ahead knowing that monsoon's coming every year, 4th of July celebrations every year. We want to maybe, if you need help with a trainer that can come give you some training tips at home, I think you might need that in your case. Or if you need veterinary care or veterinary support for medications, there's no just one medicine works for all. It's a bit of a trial and error, so you don't want to just go get a pill on the 3rd of July and give it to them on the 4th and find out it backfires. You want to start early and figure out what tips and strategies and medications, if necessary, are going to work before you go into that situation, get stuck in that situation.
Right, and of course, keep the pet inside. Behind closed doors, because a lot of times that wind can blow out the backyard door, you know, or your gate, and then next thing you know, Fido's running around in the backyard, and then that's how they escape.
They escape, they injure themselves, they damage property, you know, and in this time of year when it's record heat, these dogs can get out and you can have severe consequences with heat stroke.
Yeah.
So 4th of July parties, just remember if you're having guests over, the doors in and out, if there's noises and so forth. So find a nice safe haven for your dog and hire a babysitter if you're going to be too busy to
a dog sitter.
To swaddle, not coddle. There's
Swaddle,
a difference.
not coddle.
Yeah,
okay.
that's a thunder shirt. Yeah.
All right, I got to give Sunny some tough love.
Yeah.
All right, Brett, thank you so much. So it's time now to ask the expert here to answer your questions live on air about pet safety is Brett the Vet. All right, our first question is from Rachel in Phoenix. How much coddling should you do when your pet is scared? Does that help or hurt them and their behaviors over time? You talked about coddle versus swaddle.
Yes, Rachel, thanks for sending the question. And most of all, thanks for the picture. We want those pictures.
Oh my gosh.
Awfully cute. So coddling and swaddling. So swaddling would be something like one of those thunder shirts that you put on to comfort the dog. It actually kind of might eliminate that static electricity that we talked about. Coddling, that's swaddling. Coddling would be, oh, it's okay, don't worry, come here, you know, petting. And what you're doing is you're escalating the anxiety, the amplitude of that dog's in its mind is that you're making things worse.
Okay.
So your dog needs you to look, your dog looks to you to set an expectation. The expectation in these situations with thunderstorms and so forth is to use a little firm, not tough love, but kind of military school training. Sit, stay, no.
Okay.
You're fine. Use those terms, be firm. If your dog sees that you're confident and you're not worried, she's not going to worry.
Okay.
So work on it now, and every time I think the best thing in your situation is during those storms this time of year, just put the training leash on and start working. So you're turning into a work-related activity. I think she'll forget all about this thunderstorm stuff.
Okay. I'm going to try that.
Do it.
Yeah, okay. All right, this is Penny. Oh my gosh, how adorable. She is 8 weeks old. How do we protect her from the 4th of July fireworks in our neighborhood? 8 weeks old.
Oh.
She looks like a golden. She looks like baby Sunny.
Love, Penny. Thanks again for the picture. This is the perfect opportunity to start out right. This is a great dog already. They have such great personalities, such good attitudes. But again, military school training. All dogs need a very structured training. We call it crate training, leash training, potty training, desensitization. Start now so this puppy grows up to be a very confident young adult.
Yeah.
So I think you can turn on the background noise. You can see how she does this season with the monsoon. She may not pay attention at all to it. And if so, perfect. You don't have any issues. Don't make a big deal of it. Use that crate, though. She likes that crate. Leverage those instincts for that crate training. That crate is a home away from home, so if you're traveling this summer, it goes with you.
Yeah.
It helps support the potty training, and use that training leash all the time. Not one of those retractable ones, but one that you can keep her on heel right here and work with her. And I think building confidence, we don't see dogs with a noise aversion, thunderstorm aversion, who have been properly obedience trained in the beginning. So.
Okay, excellent advice. How often do dogs need to drink water while outdoors? Great question, especially when it's so hot outside.
So hot, you need to have more water than you think. So dog this size,
So cute.
Raphael, looks like he runs the household. I can
Yeah,
tell you.
top dog.
Raphael's in charge.
Yeah.
He'll let you know how much water he needs. But a dog this size, I'd leave a gallon of water out or two. Just you can't have enough. And of course, Raphael shouldn't be outside alone in the summer. And if you have to, make sure you provide plenty of shade, plenty of water, a place where they can go hide. And, you know, if you are going to be outside walking and so forth, let's not forget those little booties and so forth.
Real quick, do you recommend ice in the water? Because you know, when you turn on the cold, it's warm.
Ice is great, but it just doesn't last long.
Yeah.
You're out
just
there.
to cool it down a little bit.
Yeah, it's like pool service. You're adding ice every few minutes to keep it cold. You know?
Okay.
So ice would be great.
Okay. All right. That's what we do at home, so I just want to make sure. All right.
Aw.
Thank you so much, all of you, for sending in your cute pictures and your questions. On this Wellness Wednesday, building respect with your partner. It's not always easy, nor is it something that you probably talk about, but it's so important and necessary in a relationship. So what does it look like and how do we do it? Let's ask the expert. Joining me now is therapist Juliana Liddon. All right, Juliana, I know you deal with this topic a lot with your clients. And before, of course, that we can build respect in our relationship, you say that we have to work on something else first.
Yes.
What is that?
We have to love ourselves first. As cliche as that sounds, if we don't love ourselves, we can't give our love away to somebody else. And let me tell you, it's a big thing people have trouble with, really getting into that space within themselves.
Yeah, I'm sure. And you know, building respect, of course, it's based on healthy boundaries.
Yes.
So explain what this healthy boundaries, what it looks like.
So when you're in a healthy relationship, you naturally have boundaries that are kind of automatic. You wouldn't even really think about it.
Yeah.
So for example, when you're in that space of self-respect, you're not even going to think about allowing someone to walk on you, to abuse you, to treat you poorly. And it's just this automatic kind of under the surface thing.
Yeah.
So when we don't have it, we really can get into a bad space of allowing those things to happen.
Yeah, and now I see why that self-love
Yes.
is so important, that self-respect as well. Okay, so let's talk about the 3 things that make self-respect hard in a relationship first.
Oh my gosh, I tell you what, insecurities. So when you are a person who is really insecure, we've all probably been in relationships like that even when we were younger, what happens is then you become jealous, you become more clingy, and it just creates, the other person is always like, hey, it's okay, babe, it's okay, don't worry about it.
You know, they got to prove to you. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And it's never enough.
That's right.
Sometimes.
It can really, really be hard.
You also talk about the fear of being alone.
That is the #1 fear people have. So think about it. When you're in a relationship, if this fear is alive and well in you, then what happens is you get desperate. So you're going to drop your boundaries. You're going to be, you know, you're going to that place where you're going to sacrifice yourself because you're going to do anything. You don't want to be alone.
Oh, that's tough.
It's a big one.
Also, not being able to emotionally self-regulate. What do you mean by this?
Well, so many of us, all of us in one way or another has had a wound or maybe even trauma, or maybe we have anger issues and we have trouble, what I call self-soothing. Being able to really calm yourself when you need to be.
Yeah.
And so if you're in a relationship and you're always kind of getting out there, you know, you can't really bring it in.
Yes.
You can't really have a healthy conversation when you need to. It creates havoc. It creates this kind of, you start to get into that place of not having a lot of respect for yourself and often in the relationship.
When you feel like you're out of control. And you can't, you know, reel it in.
Yes.
Ooh, okay. So you've got 5 tips to build self-respect in your relationship. And the first one is all about validation.
Yeah, we love to get those stars. Remember when you were a little kid?
Oh my gosh, the stars and the happy faces, all of it, yes.
So you know what? Love your partner, validate your partner, let them know how proud you are, let them know how much you love them. You have to do it. It's so important.
And you know what? Sadly, it's probably, you know, not, you don't say that enough.
I know.
Right?
You don't. You might be thinking it.
You might be thinking it, but it never comes out.
Yeah, or you're like, oh, you look cute today. You're thinking in your head.
Right.
But you don't really say it.
Yeah.
You forget,
and then when you do say it, they're like, what?
Yeah.
Is everything okay? Okay. Next one, you say give space.
Oh, so often I will have couples in and one of the couple or, you know, individual in the couple will be like, well, I don't know why you want to go out with your friends or why you want to do that. Why don't you want to be with me? And I'm like, hey now, we've got to be able to have our own lives too.
Yes.
It's when we have this ability to be independent,
Yes.
beautiful human beings, but we
Right.
come together in this union and share that is when it really sings.
That is so important.
Give space.
Right, right. Do your own thing.
That's right.
And then you could do a couple things.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, you say compromise. To me, that's big.
Oh my gosh, it is so big because another thing I see a lot with couples is one person in the couple usually has the power, right? Not always, but a lot of times.
Right.
So whether they're bullying or they're in control or they want to do this, and what happens is it's a slow bleed over time. The other person shuts down.
Yeah.
So you don't have the mutual respect. Come together, and it needs to be this compromise.
Yeah, halfway.
Not always what you want.
Right.
Right?
right.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
we can get our way.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, well, and especially if you feel that passionate about, then, yes, then, you can find a way, but it's not always your way or the highway.
That's right. Not always.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
got that.
You also say speak your truth.
Yes. Don't let somebody quiet you. And don't let someone make you feel that you don't have a voice, that you don't have the power. So when they do that, boy, is that a shame.
Yeah.
Because they're taking away this beautiful piece of yourself.
Yeah.
So when you feel shut down, find a way or get help to learn to language what you need
to speak
in the
up.
relationship.
Oh,
You don't have to
that's
get
so
mad, but
huge.
you have to say, hey, this isn't fair.
Yeah. And finally, real quick, self-care.
Self-care, well, we got to take care of ourselves.
Yes.
Because again, that goes back to self-love. Do it because you're going to be better for your partner.
Absolutely. Oh, Juliana, so good. We could keep on going,
know.
but now time now to ask the expert. Here to answer your questions about building respect with your partner is therapist Juliana Liddon. All right, our first one is from Janice in Cave Creek. We are lost in our relationship. My husband and I have lost respect for each other. Once that's gone, is it too late to get it back? We seem to walk all over each other and don't get anywhere. Oh, that's sad.
It's never too late. I want to put that out there. It is never too late. Although self-respect and mutual respect is the foundation of every relationship, it is hard once that's gone. You have got to really become transparent. Get some help. Look at where you both caused the problem, okay? Really go there. And if you're willing to stay in it and you love each other, you can do it.
So that's, you think that, is it beyond like, can we work this out? Like, you think actually getting help is necessary?
I think in this case, you do need some coaching, some
Okay.
guidance. You really do. It's not just reading a book. When you're that far gone, you need to really own your stuff and have someone help mediate some of that. That's what I've seen.
Yeah, okay, good to know. All right, next up, Jan from Tempe says, as a parent, I feel like my kids should automatically respect me because I'm the elder. It's not working. Why? Boy, can I relate to that. I think a lot of parents can relate to that.
Here's the thing with respect.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's in the work environment, if it's in your loving relationship, or it's in the parenting situation. It's earned. It is earned.
Not
So-
just because I'm mom.
That's right, because I told you so doesn't work.
Okay.
You have to have enough self-respect, like we said for ourselves. You're
Yeah.
teaching your children how to have that. So you need to get into their world. You need to show them that you respect them.
Okay.
And then they go, wow, mom and dad really care what I think. It really matters. And slowly over time, it's a beautiful thing. Otherwise, they just shut the door. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
they're
they're
just,
like-
I don't care what they say.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, okay. I'm going to try my best, Juliana. Okay. All right. This next viewer says, my long distance girlfriend wants me to leave my job and move out of state to be with her. I love her, but leaving my job would mean losing my stable career. Is she being respectful of me? What do I do?
Wow. Well, no, I would say she's not being respectful of you if you're not in the situation where you can compromise. If
Yeah.
we're in a healthy, loving relationship, you care about that person as much as you care about yourself. So you sit down and you work that out. If you're telling someone, look, my expectations are that you need to come be with me.
Yeah,
because that works for me.
Right.
Well, how does it work for that other person?
Yeah.
Right? So we have to be in that. We're entrained. We have to be together in those decisions. And that's a life-changing situation there.
Right. Because
Right?
it could go downhill if, that move isn't the right
Well,
move.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So you got to weigh it out. You got to sit down. You got to talk about all the pros and cons and how is this going to work for both of us.
Yeah.
It's not a whim.
Ooh, that is a tough one. All right, Juliana, thank you so much. Oh, we had more questions, but I just don't have enough time. Oh, we appreciate you so much, Juliana. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow our YouTube channel for more content and watch the Ask the Expert segment weekdays at 4 p.m. and right here on our 12 Plus app.